Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. Today's video is going to be what if I lost all of my makeup and I could only go out and repurchase 10 new items to do a full face of makeup. So I saw this tag going around and thought it would be incredibly fun to really give a think about some of my favorite products and what I would rush out to buy. If my house went up in flames or if somehow all of my makeup got stolen, what would I go out and buy? And I think I have a good blend here of both drugstore and high-end. And I really try to have 10 products that would allow me to do a full face of makeup the way I like to do it. I have thrown in like an option when it comes to like some base products because I'm that kind of person who really likes to change up my base products according to the season. So depending on what time of year the big drama would happen, I would definitely have a different pick. So I wanted to represent that in here. And I just thought that we could talk about these products. The first product that I would definitely want to go out and repurchase is the Faced Hangover RX primer. This is a travel size that I decided to buy to give this product a try. And for a very long time, as I was using this, I haven't tried a lot of primers, you should know, but as I was using this, I really felt like I couldn't really make up my mind about this, whether I truly liked it or not. But now that I've used it up and it's gone, I'm actually missing this. And I think that the best way to really tell that you truly love a product is if you run out of it or you break it or whatever and you go like, oh, I really need it back again in my life now. And that's definitely how I feel about this product. So for a primer, I would choose the Faced Hangover RX. For foundation, I have two picks. I have a drugstore option and a high-end option. And actually, one of these is my full coverage option and the other one is my light coverage option. In the wintertime, I love going for a full coverage option. And I think that one of the best full coverage foundations that has been released in the last year is the new Maybelline Superstay foundation. I have this in the shade 3, I think. I'm not even sure. No, shade Cameo, number 20. It's a bit pinky, but it kind of matches me quite well. I don't feel I have to put any white foundation in this to mix it up at all, which is pretty good. And for a full coverage that I tend to wear a little bit more in the winter time, I think this is a really good option. Now, if you're not into full coverage, or if you're a person like me who likes to wear a lighter coverage foundation in the summertime, then I can definitely recommend the Urban Decay Naked Skin Foundation. I have this in the shade 1.5, and this is just a really great summer shade. It's a little bit darker than the Maybelline one, but I find that with a lightweight foundation, I don't really mind because it will blend out anyways. And I feel that this foundation definitely does that. It wears really well on my skin. And if it's a little bit warmer, I like to go for something a little less coverage wise, but definitely something that gives me a nice, healthy look. And I feel that this foundation definitely does that. It's also, of course, a lot more expensive than the Maybelline one. So this way I can also give you a more affordable and a more high-end option if that's what you're into. Now, when it comes to concealer, I again have a more affordable and a more high-end option for some products that I would run out and buy. The Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer is, of course, also a little bit more lightweight. And I think that this is a great summer option as well. But if you like fuller coverage and if you are into a concealer that definitely stays put, that doesn't really pull into any fine lines, then the Revolution Conceal and Define is a really, really great option. This is only €5. It doesn't come with a whole lot of product, so that's why I also used up one of these completely already. I have this in this shade C3 and I feel that this is a nice all-rounder. So if you want to go for something very affordable and a little bit fuller coverage that stays put concealer-wise, then I highly recommend the Makeup Revolution one. If you like a lighter coverage and if high-end is more your jam, then the Urban Decay Naked Skin is one of my favorites. So those were the options that I have left. Everything else that's in here, I only have one option for you. If I have to run out and buy a new face powder, it would be this. This is the Faced Primed and Poreless Pressed Powder. This is what it looks like, and this is one of my all-time favorite powders. I think this is the third or fourth one that I own, and this is just a powder that I do tend to go through quite quickly, but it's a powder that just works for me so well. Just works on my skin, makes it look flawless, and this is just a really, really great powder to have. When it comes to brows, I would only buy one thing, and it's very affordable. This is the Essence Make Me Brow. This is my favorite brow gel. Because it has those fibers in it, like the Benefit Gimme Brow, it actually adds a lot of texture to your brows as well. So this is just one of those one and done products, and actually, when I used the first one of this, I was only wearing this and I wasn't even filling in my brows or anything like that. So I feel I can get away with just this one. And since it's only like somewhere between 2 or 3 euros, it's also a very, very affordable option. And I would definitely have to get this back into my life if I lost all my makeup. A product I definitely cannot live without, and that I definitely had to sacrifice some products in the other categories for, is eyeshadow primer. I have to have eyeshadow primer because else my eyeshadow just won't last. So I think the Milani one is a really nice option. It's a bit expensive where I live, but if you're in the US, this is a great affordable option. But I've tried a lot of them. I've tried the Too Faced one and the Urban Decay one, the Lorac one, which is the other one I like, the NYX one, the HD primer. Those are all ones that I like, but I will definitely also, if I run out of this, I will definitely be repurchasing this because it's still a little less expensive than the Too Faced or the Urban Decay one. And yeah, so the Milani eyeshadow primer is one that I cannot live without. Face product wise, I only have one product here because I figured that if I had to make do and like run out and like rebuild a full face of makeup, I would go for a face palette, and I wouldn't invest in like buying a separate bronzer, blush, and highlight. I would try to get a product that could do everything in one go. And this is the sleek, what's this called again? Face Form, and this is in the shade Fair. This is what it looks like. It has a nice bronzer. This actually works quite well on my skin tone. I can get away with this as a contour or as a bronzer all over my face. Since it's matte, it won't do much of anything. It has a very nice sort of like NARS Orgasm type of blush shade in here with a bit of shimmer to it that makes your cheeks just look really healthy. And then it has a pretty decent colored highlight as well. So I would go for something like this. I was actually holding like my e.l.f. palette, but then I realized that the e.l.f. palette that I have is one that I condensed from 3 other palettes, so I felt that wasn't fair. So I felt the best option I currently own would be this sleek palette, but I would definitely buy some form of like face palette so that I have a one and done kind of product and I don't have to invest in 3 separate ones. Then for eyeshadow, of course I would go for a palette. You know I love my eyeshadow palette, so it had to be a palette that I would be repurchasing. And I was very sort of on the fence about what I would buy because I would definitely want to have a palette that can sort of do a very neutral everyday look over something really crazy and colorful, because that's what I tend to wear. Well, this year I've been branching out, so I shouldn't say that that's what I tend to wear the most, because I've definitely, and colleagues have been noticing that I'm wearing a lot more color on my eyes. But I think that if I had to start from scratch, if I lost all my eyeshadow palettes, and I could only pick one, which one would I really, really regret not having? And I think it would be this one. And this is the Lorac Pro 3. This was a very tough choice to make, but for me, for my skin tone and my complexion and my makeup preferences, this is a palette that can do everything. You have a bit of color in the form of this purple, so you don't have to do a completely bland look if you don't want to. It's got some really nice transition shades that are mattes. You have some nice shimmers that work really well on the lid. I've got some dark shades to create something a little bit more smoky if I like. And because the Lorac palettes have a full row of mattes and shimmers, I think you have like everything you kind of need in one go. So if I lost all of my eyeshadow palettes, oh, pity the thought. But if that were to happen, then I think this would be the first palette that I would repurchase. Still in its packaging, but nevertheless still a very firm favorite. If I lost all my makeup and had to rush out and buy a mascara, I would buy the L'Oreal Paradise Extatic. So this is called the Lash Paradise in the US. This is the mascara I would repurchase like that. This is usually on sale too, so it's always good to save a bit of money. This is one of my favorite all-time mascaras, so this is what I would repurchase. And last but not least, for lips, I was also umming and ahhing what I would repurchase. I'm currently wearing a Bite lipstick, in case you're wondering, and I really love the Bite lipstick formula for its creaminess and its richness in color, but I think that if I were to lose all of my lipsticks and I could only buy one, I would have to go with a liquid lipstick that lasted all day, that wouldn't budge. So I would go for this. This is the Maybelline Lip Ink in Pioneer. This is one of my favorite reds. And it's just one that once it dries down, it just won't budge. It won't go everywhere. And if I have a very basic sort of cheek look and a very sort of basic eye look, I think that a red would very nicely pair with a very plain look otherwise. So I would definitely go for something a bit bolder on the lips then. And this lasts all day, and I really love this formula. Though it's a little bit tacky at first, it takes a little bit longer to dry down, but that does add to the comfort factor and the fact that this just won't budge and you need like actual makeup remover to remove it from your lips. I think makes for a safe bet, because I love a good lipstick that lasts all day. And even though these Bite ones last pretty well as well, I think I would go for something a little bit more affordable so that I have a nice blend of both affordable and more expensive products in my 10 product pick as well. So those are my 10 picks for products that I would run out to get if I were to lose all of my makeup. And I would be very curious to hear what your favorite picks would be. So which 10 products would you run out to get if you lost all of your makeups? Please leave me that in a comment down below, and I would very much appreciate it if you could thumbs up this video, because it would just really help me to get my videos out there. And if you're curious in more of my content, then I post new videos twice a week on Thursdays and Sundays, and I really hope to see you in a few days in a new video. I hope you have a great day, and thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in my next one. Bye!